Hi, we are Group 16. This video will introduce the project we completed in Assignment 2. The whole video will be divided into 8 parts to introduce our project, which include background and motivation, the purpose and function, system architecture, applied technologies, database design, cloud computing platform, challenge, and live demo. Let's start with the first part.
Most of employees have experience in writing leave application. The leave application normally is handwritten or in email form. Whether it is a handwritten application or email application, employees have to spend much time on leave application. On the other hand, sometimes employee may apply leave at the same time period, causing the company to face employee sufficient situation without any preparation. In order to improve the efficiency of leave application, creating a standard of leaving and breaking down of leaving type helps to improve the efficiency. In addition, it is necessary to a company to analyze what time period will be peaking time period of leaving, then they can prepare for employees' sufficient situation. The system is designed for both of employees and managers. Employees are allowed to apply leave after login. The application form can be found when employees log in. Managers can log in as admin, give approval or not approval to employees. The system can predict what time period may face the employee's sufficient situation. Company can be prepared to face employees' sufficient situation.
I will be going through the system architecture of our web portal. The whole system architecture is divided into 3 parts: the VM instance, the database instance, and the cloud load balancer. For the cloud load balancer, the main purpose is to direct the network traffic during the peak period, where let's say during peak hour there are 10,000 users logging into the web portal, so they will all log into the virtual machine instance 1. If it reaches the threshold, the remaining or any new visitor will be directed towards the virtual machine instance 2, so that all the network traffic can be shared equally among all, so no one will experience any slow internet connection or slow processing speed. As for the database, the proposed database is PostgreSQL, but the actual database used in our web portal is the MySQL. The reason why we chose MySQL in the end is because that it is more easy to use with phpMyAdmin, so we can better manage our data and view our data. The third virtual machine instance, which is the virtual machine instance 3, is used to store all the images needed to upload by the employee. For example, such as the medical leave certificate and other necessary letters, official letters they needed or required to upload for the manager to actually view it. The reason why we built this third virtual machine instance is that when we do our research, we found out that file formats such as PDF, MPEG, PNG are not recommended to store in the database. It is difficult to both retrieve and to store this kind of format in the database. Therefore, the photo or image will be uploaded separately into a third virtual machine instance, where there are folders for each employee to upload there, so it is more easy to retrieve and to upload. The database design are split into total of 5 tables: the departments, the leave type, the admin, the leave, and the employee. So the department tables will have all the department information. The employee table will store the information of the employee. The leave table will basically store the different type of leave, and the leave type table will basically store the different leave. The admin table will store the admin user which has the privilege of approving the leave. The difference between the leaf type tables and the leaf table is that the leaf type table stores the template of the leaf, while as for the leaf table, it's storing the records of individual employees' leaves which applied in the past. Whether it's been approved or not approved is determined by the status of the leaf. While for the cloud computing platform, we are using Jupyter Notebook and Python programming language. The first thing we have done for Jupyter Notebook to process our data is to connect directly to the database. Initially, we have actually exported into a CSV format and upload it here for the Jupyter Notebook to process it. But after some research, we decided to actually access the Jupyter Notebook directly into our database instance to retrieve the data. Here we can see that the PyMySQL is being imported to actually establish the connection between database instance and the Jupyter Notebook, and the SQL query of select all from the table leaves basically will retrieve all the information from the leaf table and process it. The library used here will include sklearn, which is for the linear regression, the Seaborn, which is for plotting of graph, NumberPy, which is processing numbers, and Pandas, also the PyMySQL, which settles the connection between using Python to MySQL. The datetime are basically converting the format, and the matplot library will be used for plotting the graph. Instead of using CSV, we choose to connect directly is because that for CSV, each update will require to export into the CSV again and upload to Jupyter again to actually do a data processing. But for ours, we can just run the whole kernel again after each update in the database, which can resolve or save a lot of time going through all these hassles. The next thing after connecting the database, we'll be testing the connection. So we'll be using df.head. df data frame we previously defined in the connection of the database, and the df head will actually retrieve the first 70 records from our database. We inserted a total of around 69 records into the database for this testing. So this image shows that the whole table leaves has been retrieved from the database. The next thing we will be doing will be the simple graph plotting. This is to embed the photos or the images of all this data into the admin dashboard page so that the leaf status can be viewed at a glance. This includes simple graphs such as a bar graph, histograph, and pie chart, basically displaying all the different type of leaves taken throughout the year and the percentage of different leaves. The next will be linear regression. Linear regression will be done using the two attributes, the from date and to date. The from date is the start of the leaf, and the to date is the end of the leaf that an employee is taken. We are using these two attributes to calculate the most number of months the employee likes to take their leaves on. So we can see there's a concentration of a certain period where the employee like to take their leave. So in this case, the manager can better plan the workload ahead. And because of the linear regression can only process numerical data, we have to use the first two lines where we convert using pandas to convert the date time format from the database to the numerical format so that the Jupyter Notebook or Python can process it into the linear regression equation, which is why the image display the x-axis and the y-axis are in a very strange numerical value, because these are the dates that converted into the numerical data.
We also encountered some difficulties in completing the project. The first is the sharing instance. In the study of Jupyter programming, we found that Jupyter cannot be shared on instance, so we had to write and test the code separately. Another difficulty is making a chart. Calling the data in the database and tabulating it in Python was a challenge for us. Although we could use Python to extract data from the database, we didn't know how to tabulate it at the beginning. We spent a lot of time to solve this problem. Not only that, but we also encountered problems related to cluster environment. After completing the database and testing in VM instance, we found that our database did not meet the requirements of cluster environment. In order to solve this problem, we have to move the completed database from the original VM instance to another instance and modify and test the file. Finally, we ran into problems in completing the linear regression, since the data in database are stored as datetime format, but linear regression required all data to be float and numeric number. Our function cannot process the data in the database. For this reason, we convert both column of data and time to numerical number.
This is the live demonstration for our web portal. Basically, initially it's the registration part where the employee are required to key in all the necessary details such as the employee ID, email address, password, the status, 1 for employee, 0 for admin. This is used to determine who has a right to approve the leave and who doesn't have the right to approve the leave. Other information such as the personal particular, first name, last name, gender, date of birth, department, address, personal address, and its central are required to fill up, and all this information will go to the database. Next, the employee can now log in and apply leave through our web portal. So he or she can go to the side menu and choose apply leave, and this apply leave page will be prompt out. He or she can select the type of leave from the first drop down list and enter the leave code and select the date, and the description is to explain what the leave is for and other necessary information for the management to actually approve it. And then he will click apply. There will be a status bar showing whether it's been success or not. As for the admin part, the admin will log in through a different page. Once logged in, you can see that there's notification popping out says that one of the employee has applied the leave. So by clicking the leave, the admin can take the action and view the leave, whether it's been approved or not approved, and he or she can write a comment below and and all this will be reflected back to the employee. Other function for the admin such as the adding of employee, remove of employee, and updating the employee info can be found at the right side of the column. Also, besides adding and updating employee, the admin can also adding different type of leave type or edit the different type of leave type. All this leave type will be saved as the template in the leave type table in the database. Also, the department can be also added or removed or managed by the admin.